Hello and welcome to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling, and just about anything and everything that will keep you inspired. And welcome to the Hemingway Jones Live Fountain Pen Show, meeting as we always do Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Any occasion that we can. So, hello and welcome everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I hope you're all doing well. It's very pretty here in the wonderful Commonwealth of Massachusetts. These days, the weather has turned lovely. My apple tree is in full bloom, and we finally have leaves on at least some of the trees. We're a little late up here, so it's been going well. So welcome to regular viewers and to all the members. I see quite a few people are already here in the chat. Hello, everyone, and I hope you're well. If you are a regular viewer, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe and come on this journey with us. We go to some amazing places. From the fountain pen, you can really go anywhere, and we do. So everywhere from different travel destinations to classic literature to poetry to pop culture references. If you pay attention during my videos, you'll see a lot of what younger people might call Easter eggs, but definitely movie quotes and literature, poems and allusions and all sorts of things sprinkled about, which most people miss. So always point those out in the comments if you find one, because we have a lot of fun. So, hello everyone. Thanks for all the likes. I appreciate that too. So we also have a membership program here at the channel. You can join through YouTube. It's a really nice way to get even closer to your friends that are in the chats and in the comments. It's also a great way to keep the lights on here and help support the channel. And we have a pen pal group for Illuminati and Cognoscenti members, which is a lot of fun. So consider membership as well if you'd like to support the channel even more. Hello, Kevin Fair. Welcome to your first live. Always nice to see someone new in the chat. And forgive me if I miss your comments in the chat. Sometimes it's hard to run a show and keep an eye on what's going on, but I do try. There's a lot going on. Okay, so tonight we have a fun show for you about the last pen standing and what all that means. We have plenty of fun fountain pen talk to get on the way to our main topic, so that should be a lot of fun too. A lot of things have been happening lately that are very exciting. For instance, Yard a Lead has shipped their pen to me, which is fantastic. They are donating a pen to the channel. Now I'm wondering if I need to pay a tariff on it. It's possible. So that's not fun, but it will be wonderful to see a Yard a Lead pen in person, try it out, and bring it to you and give you my thoughts. I always present my fountain pen reviews in a slightly different context. I want to make them interesting, to resonate, to inspire you to write more, and not just in some sort of supercilious, I know better, I'm the arbiter of good taste and, proper fountain pen features. Not at all. For me, it's a journey that I share with you. All my vulnerabilities and all the things I'm learning are out there, transparent for you to see. And then I think once you learn my aesthetic and what I like, what I don't like, you can sort of calculate your opinions from that. I think if you see a pen cap that doesn't have a metal, gold ring around it to protect it, you'll probably know I don't like that. And maybe that's not a big deal to you. So things like that. So I think you will enjoy that when Yard a Lead sends it. Robin Pennell asks, what if it's a gift, a tariff? I think anything you import into the country that has a value, you have to pay a tariff on. It's a tax. So anything you bring in, you are personally responsible. So that's how tariffs work. They don't generate money. They transfer money you have to the government. So If you're anti-tax, you probably don't like tariffs. So Tom Morley, HJ, I think the end of de minimis, which happens May 2nd, only applies to Canada, Mexico, and China. Okay, what is oh yeah, it is. It only applies to Canada, Mexico, and China for de minimis. Yeah, I knew de minimis was ending. I wasn't sure if it covers everyone. But see, the thing is, Tom, that makes it so confusing is that it does change. Business is flexible and people can adapt, but things are very capricious. They come and they go, so it's hard to keep an eye on it. So hopefully you're right, especially in regards to my Montblanc Wes Anderson pen, which fortunately is going to the boutique and not directly to me, or that would be very unpleasant for me. So anyway, those are some pen goings on. I want to talk a little bit about some of the pens that I have been using lately. It's weaned down. The collection has weaned down to 2. And by the end of the hour, there can be only 1. But I've been using the Watchman Edson, which is still such a delight, such a beautiful pen, so civilized. It's certainly substantial, has an incredible nib, so smooth, so pretty, delights the eye, incredible to use, to guide on the page, very elegant. I love the pads that hold the cap on, beautiful cap, brushed gold, lovely accents, just a perfect, sort of an executive pen, I think, if I were to classify it looks-wise. Definitely beautiful, almost, maybe even perfect. Perfect is a high bar, though, right? So another pen is the Watchman Quran. This one is my Amber from 20 years ago. A beautiful pen. Does anybody guess which ink I put in here? Does anyone want to guess in the comments if you're watching the replay or here live in the chat? Which ink do you think I put into my Watchman Quran in Amber? Which ink? Let me know. And I'll tell you in a moment. I did forget to bring one pen out. So I'm going to quickly look for it because it's very important. It's very much part of what we're doing tonight. Just have to remember which case. Almost all of my cases look the same, which is pretty on the shelf and very impractical when you're looking for something because I can't figure out which one's which. And I know I can put a sticker or a number or write or, emboss something into it, but I haven't. Perhaps can. Okay, let's see some of your guesses for ink. Lee says Oxblood. Oxblood's a good choice. I often would go there. I did not. David says Pearl Noir. I did not. Jack is going out into left field with Emerald de Chavour, which is an ink I do love, but did not choose for this. It is an ink I've recently spoken about, though. Mary Beth Orr with Gerban Il d'été. Another great choice. That zipper's loud. So these are my pen cases, guys. And the reason I like these, I'll show you all of them. And also show you how silly I am. They're by Jorolojo. They're very, very similar, except obviously for the tan one. And that's only because they ran out of the other color when I went to purchase one. So these each hold 24. And then I have another case for my super special pens. And then I have another box for ones that are transitioning out into the world. I have gone through my collection and weaned it out of pens I just don't like, that don't inspire me. And they are being cast out. Although I could do more. Like this Majan X1 is terrible. It's just a horrible pen. It's It's supposed to be a Bohème copy, but it's dreadful. And I wanted to compare it with the actual Bohème, which is amazing. But I can barely get this thing to write. It's so scratchy. It's a paper cutter. It's terrible. So in Daily Pen news otherwise, the Reflections of Paris, Waterman Curran, I used up all the ink, which is super fun. I filled this up, and I used it up. Oh, I didn't tell you what was in the... I'm so mean. I didn't tell you what was in the Quran. So I put in Cuttlefish Brown. Cuttlefish Brown in the Waterman Quran. And why is that a big deal? Does anyone remember? Because it's... so funny. Dion in her orb. H hasn't responded to Cuttlefish. Must be Cuttlefish then. I was getting to it, but I went on to like another topic, which is typical for me. I have more tributaries than the Mississippi River. Yes, so Cuttlefish Brown is in here. And why is that a big deal? David Persons is here. Hi, David. One of my favorite people in the whole world. David Persons is a lovely guy. Well, it's a big deal because you may have seen my short talking about the Pilot Custom 823, which I recently finally ran out of ink after months and months of writing. Finally out of ink. I've cleaned it. Mostly it's still wet inside, but it's water. It's clear. It's not ink for the most part. I actually see at least one drop of blue in there, but you know what? If I fill this again, it'll all just get washed out. It won't matter. So I was going to put Cuttlefish Brown into this Pilot Custom 823. And then I put it in the Waterman Quran, which is another decent choice. So now I'm still conflicted. I don't know what to put in here. I really wanted to put Cuttlefish Brown, and maybe I still can. So, if you have a suggestion about which ink, Steve Ruckel, you're behind, my friend. You know, that's exactly the problem. He's saying, what did you put in the PC 823? Nothing. I am at an impasse. So I have like Pelican Brown. That's nice. Or maybe I'll just put it in both. I mean, I have Eclat de Saphir in so many different pens. So I need to fill this up. And there's a reason. There's a very important reason why this must be filled this week. It's a very big deal. And if you don't know this about the PC823, you need to stay tuned. It's very, very important. Very important. We'll get to that in a minute. So, just a fantastic selection of daily writers lately, guys. Including my 823 competitor from Gravitas, which I've been using. I'm pretty sure I put Konpeki in here. And this is a really smooth nib. It's a steel nib, but very smooth, very solid pen. The only downside, I love Ben Walsh. I consider him a personal friend, but boy, I wish he'd put some kind of cap on these things. This thing loves to roll away. I'm someone who puts pens on notebooks and then picks up the notebook. If it doesn't have some kind of anchor, it's going. It's going. I did save it, actually miraculously. It was rolling off the desk and I caught it with Jack Burton reflexes, where I caught it. No one saw it, but I still was like, it's all in the reflexes, and nobody knew but me. So that is a pen I'm getting a lot of joy. And then there's one more that's in a pigeonhole here on my desk. You'll hear it rattling in the background. This pen, wow, this pen was your daddy's pen. This, in what is, not the original case, but nevertheless, it's a case, and it says Waterman. Waterman 5 Flex Nib, exquisite. I do recommend it if you have the means. A very good pen. Okay, so my dilemmas are Pilot Custom 823. What shall I put in it? Birmingham Pens Distressed Leather. Dorian says Birmingham Pen Company. Very nice inks. But I really love Andorilium too, so I'm on the fence. Okay, let's talk a little bit about last week's video. Because videos bring out the best and the worst in people. And especially any video that mentions Mont Blanc in any kind of critical light. And I think you all know that I am a Mont Blanc fanboy. That I adore the brand. I love most of the pens. Occasionally they crank out a abomination, but most of their pens are really beautiful, well-crafted, interesting, and their nibs are exquisite, just perfect. And if they're not, when you get it, you send it back and then you get one that is. So there's really no excuse not to have a good experience with Mont Blanc. But whenever you mention them, you either get the fanboys who get so upset that you dared to say anything critical about Mont Blanc, or you get the haters who hate the brand so much and just want to pile on how much they hate it. And I am a little bit taken aback by just people who hate a brand entirely. I don't think there's any fountain pen brand that I hate entirely. And there are plenty of fountain pen brands that have let me down, including, brands like Jinhao, and I don't hate Jinhao. I want Jinhao to be better, but I've had such terrible luck with them that it's very discouraging. Majan's not much better. I love TWSBI. I love most pen brands. I don't understand saying I hate a brand completely, especially since almost every brand has brought us something incredible. Now, I can say that, no, see, hate's too strong a word. I just can't imagine. I mean, I get disappointed with some of the modern iterations. The fact that Cross isn't what it was even 20 years ago when they were made here in the US, or Schaefer really isn't Schaefer anymore. It's just a generic fountain pen with a Schaefer name on it. But I don't hate them. I actually hope one day that they make inlaid nibs anymore, Nevertheless, Aquamarina says, hi, HJ. Yes, Mont Blanc conversations we had. We did indeed. Aquamarina and I speak quite a bit on Instagram. And we were talking about this very topic, how much people defend or criticize certain brands. And I like to use these as a thought experiment. So the video in question is one that I released basically on whether or not the Mont Blanc 149 is still relevant in 2025. Whether or not it's a pen worthy of your $1,050, which, by the way, the price doesn't seem to have gone up in the last year, which is encouraging. What do you get for that? And is it still a relevant pen? Is it something that is aspirational still in your collection? Hey, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Now, this is constructed as a framework to have a discussion about the pros and cons of the pen, to kick around some ideas, to be a little provocative about certain things, certain preconceived notions. I brought up the fact that there are certainly and undeniably what I call douchey connotations to the Mont Blanc 149. And if you did, you can deny it if you want, but I think you would then be in denial. I think there are those connotations for certain segments that do buy these pens, and maybe not fountain pens. They make roller balls and ballpoints too, but just for people who want to show off the Glacier Star, that they're buying for show. And there are those people. I think with any brand, there's people buying it for show. So, you have your Mont Blanc, your pen, and it doesn't mean that's you. It's all about intent. You can be aware of it and not part of it. There are lots of connotations. There are terrible connotations to some things. There are some clothing items that get adopted by extremist groups. Should you stop wearing them? I think some goofy extremist group, I don't know who they were, but I know they were some, Meshuggah people somewhere, were wearing Hawaiian shirts. So should you stop wearing a Hawaiian shirt because of them? What if you're Thomas Magnum? You think Thomas Magnum is going to put down his red Hawaiian shirt and his Detroit Tigers hat? I think. I don't know sports, so help me there. Just because some crazy people are adopting it. No. So the connotations that's on certain items, they exist separately than you and me. And I was making that point, but someone was attacking me for calling it douchey. And I wasn't. I was just saying that those connotations exist. I'm a fanboy of Mont Blanc. I think you know that. So it does bring out extreme opinions on both sides, which I entertain. I don't understand the anger and the vehement tone when it's me, in a way. And not that I'm special, but just my persona and who I am as an actual person, which is very similar, believe me, is not really confrontational in that regard. I'm kind of the Mr. Rogers of fountain pens, or, Bob Ross. I'm not Howard Stern or who's the other chap with the bald head? Joe Rogan. I'm not a confrontational person necessarily. When I'm being provocative, it's just with ideas. I'm not impolite. So I don't understand, if you're putting kind of gentle energy out there, how the pushback you get, the tide can be full of such hatred about a pen, a fountain pen, a beautiful writing instrument. But there you have it. That does happen. Now, at the end of the day, I think you all know that there are a few fountain pens that I love as much as my Mont Blanc 149. It is one of the constants in my collection. There was a time that it was the last pen standing, when it was Connor McLeod, when there could be only one, and it was the Mont Blanc 149. I used that pen almost exclusively for about 4 years, and I used it with nothing but Mont Blanc Royal Blue ink, of which I still have a big stash of outdated bottles because they've changed since then. And I didn't miss other pens at the time. I was very happy. Now, I gave away most of my collection at that time to my attorney, who also loves fountain pens and who is very dear to me, even though he's my attorney. He's a great guy. He was my best man at my wedding. And he loves fountain pens, so I gave him like a Mark Twain. There was a Blue Ocean Pelican. I'm trying to remember some of them. It was a long time ago. And then I kept, during that, my Quran, my Schaefer Legacy, which I showed you a few weeks back, which it's so choice. I do recommend it if you have the means. And what else did I keep those days? Did I say my Cross Apogee? I definitely kept that, which I just recently restored to its former glory. But I haven't tried it. That pen was leaking through the feed, through the converter, where the converter attaches to the feed had worn away over the years. And it was just sort of a kind of like a mottled, faded mess. So getting another cross converter that fit that pen was no easy feat. It took a few months, but I found one. And I haven't inked it yet, so I really should do that. Mary Beth Orr says, I think Mont Blanc is more about people who love luxury goods than people who love pens. I love my 146. Oh, Mary Beth, I think I would push back with that a little bit respectfully because, it's gentle. And I love that you're here. It's just that they do make incredible nibs that are aimed at us. Like they have a lot of nib choices for fountain pen writers with very peculiar and particular tastes. All your obliques, even your flex nibs, all that are available. You can switch nibs. They have calligraphy classes. If you go to Mont Blanc's page, they have cursive writing classes, all kinds of calligraphy classes, all made for fountain pen lovers, specifically. So, I don't think they position themselves so much as luxury, or maybe they do, because when you think about it, and let me agree with you too, as I gently counter your argument, I'm going to now agree with you. They do make all those perfumes and leather goods and things, and they make far more money off of that. It's really hard. I tried to look through Richemont's financial statements to see if I could see a breakdown of what Mont Blanc makes, and they don't separate it out. I thought there'd be a nice consolidating statement at the back, but they don't do that, and I was very disappointed because I wanted to see for myself. I wanted hard data, and there's some estimates out there, and they vary wildly. And I know one of them said that they have sales of about $1 billion. I think that's too low for that group when you think of their high-end watches, their leather goods, and all that. But their fine writing instruments is a minuscule part of whatever pie there is, because almost every pen brand I've ever spoken to, and some worse than others, but even like Retro 51, fountain pens are 10% of their business. It's about the same for Kaweco. For Pilot, it's even smaller. It's in the single digits because Pilot sells gel pens, innumerable gel pens. So I'm happy that Mont Blanc even makes an effort to appeal to us. Where they lose me, and once again, where I'll agree with you, is all those special editions where they're throwing on all these, gemstones and things. That loses me. I like basics. Give me a nice, well-formed Mont Blanc 149. Throw on, if you want a special edition, put an ebonite feed on it. That's a special edition I would get behind. Or maybe make it brown. Wouldn't that be cool? How about a brown one? Or bring back the burgundy. Please. See, those things would make it interesting. But anyway, thanks for that awesome comment, which set me off on a tangent. And the 146, as you note, is indeed a near perfect fountain pen. And so is the Sailor 1911L, which shares its basic dimensions. They're cousins, like they twin. And I love that fountain pen. I keep it in my office as my backup piece. So if I forget a fountain pen, I have my Lilliput in my bag, but I also have my 146 on my desk, filled with Gerbon Clay de Saphir. So there we have it. There we have it. Thank you, Mary Beth Orr, for helping me out with the show. Okay. So lots of new interesting things coming up on the channel. More handwriting practices. More handwriting analysis. So if you enjoy those kind of videos, there's a lot more coming, including special letter writing techniques. I think you're going to like that. All kinds of interesting sort of 18th century things coming up. Very fun. So lots of cool things. Eric Lindman, my man Eric, one of my chums here at the channel. Sailor KOP is perfectly sized for my big hands. That's impressive. I've never written with one, but I did finally see one recently. So very, very cool stuff. I'm going to do some more videos too on bookshop tours and stationery store tours and things. I think you'll enjoy that. Okay, so what video is coming up this week, which is then going to flow into tonight's conversation? I'm going to tell you. We have a great video this week. Did you guys know? Did you know that the Pilot Custom 823, this pen, does anybody know what's special about this pen? It's 25 years old. It's the 25th anniversary of the Pilot Custom 823. Happy birthday, buddy. You look good. 25 years. How about that? So could I let its birthday, one of the finest fountain pens out there, if not the finest, quite possibly, could I let this landmark, this incredible milestone in one of the greatest fountain pens of all time go by without Hemingway Jones releasing what I consider to be the definitive video on this incredible, unparalleled, exquisite, elegant, near perfect fountain pen, except for a few things, one of which, yeah, see that? Just move this down. Just move it down. There's no reason. This resin here is superfluous. Move it down. So, yes, happy 25th anniversary to the Pilot Custom 823, and we're going to celebrate it with an incredible video. And when I say incredible, I mean you'll hardly believe it, how good it is. And why is that? I have invited some of my YouTube friends to help me out with this video. So at the end, well, near the end, maybe it's more like the middle. Well, you just have to watch it and find out. You will see some of your and my favorite YouTubers comment on the Pilot Custom 823. And that's super fun. So that's a big part of it. So the one thing pretty amazing about the Pilot Custom 823 is that in order to make this video, as I've mentioned on previous live shows, I decided to write almost exclusively with that pen for a few weeks. And I was writing, hoping to run out of ink, and it just took forever. And it was really kind of admirable how much ink that pen holds, and very, very impressive. So while I was doing that, I really sort of bonded with it in a whole new way. And something happened that doesn't happen very often with me in fountain pens, especially lately. Because lately I've been buying much more purposefully, much more mindfully, and less reflexively or out of a sense of missing out. So I am trying to limit my passion purchases. Not passion, let me rephrase that. I'm trying to limit my, what's it called when you're impulsive? I'm trying to limit my impulsive purposes and actually go where my passion is. So if I see something that's a really cool color and I want to buy it, like the recent Lamy Safari in coral, pretty nice, pretty tempting, but it's another color and I just got terracotta and I really love the terracotta. So I don't need it. So I'm not going to do it. So what I did though is after writing with it for a while, I started to really want another Pilot Custom 823. And this happened last year. I was fairly convinced I was going to buy one in DC at the DC Fountain Pen Show, and I didn't, because at the time I wanted a clear one with a signature nib, and I tried out the signature nib and it was awesome, and I really wanted it until about a week ago. And the reason is I've decided that the signature nib, for as great as it is for signing and for bold writing, is probably not the best pen for me right now, because lately I've been writing very small in both my handwriting practice, my journal, my Bottega Obscura journal, and my work notebook. So I want a fine nib. I want a clear Pilot Custom 823 in fine. And since my birthday is coming up in 2 short weeks, I will lap the sun another year and mark my 58th year, the beginning of my 58th year on planet Earth, which is mind-boggling because in my head, I'm still 32. I don't know how I got to be 58. I don't know where the time went, but I do know it was spent well with my wife and my beautiful daughter. So I don't have a single regret. But my wife asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I could only think of 2 things. One is I do want another bracelet for my Cartier. So I want a Cartier branded burgundy bracelet. But it will take a very long time to get that, and I kind of want immediate gratification. So it's a lot easier to call Brendan over at Atlas and get a clear Pilot Custom 823 in fine by the 17th. So I'm mostly going to forget that I'm turning another year older, so birthdays really aren't a big deal for me. But I don't want to be one of those people that say, don't buy me anything, because that's no fun, and it makes life difficult for my wife. I actually prefer things, experiences over things. Last year we went to the Mount Washington Hotel, and I had a blast. I'd rather do that than get a toy, to be honest, because then we spend time together as a family. We have really cool memories. But we are traveling pretty soon, so there we have it. Yeah, Dorian's trapped in time too. I have a terrible sense of time. I can never tell when things happen and when. Like I have trouble putting them in a timeline. But the fine nib on a Pilot Custom 823 seems perfect because I want that as a journaling pen. It's going to be my journaler. Although I'm also considering getting another medium and sending it to a Nibmeister and doing a cursive italic. So I haven't quite figured it out. Let me know in the chat or the comments. What, cursive italic based on a medium or fine for the Pilot Custom 823? Part of me hates customization. I'm not good at that. I have a very restricted sense of order. So if I buy something, I normally keep it the way it is. If they say, oh, you can just swap out nibs, I would rather buy a whole new pen with that nib than swap it out. I'm weird that way. I seem to be able to do it on Lami's because I often put their calligraphy nib or the cursive nib they have onto them, which is a lot of fun. But the idea of modifying a nib from Pilot, such a great nib on its own, is a little bit scary to me. A little scary. So I'm not really sure I wanted to do that. So we'll see. I might be calling Brendan and getting a Pilot Custom 823 just to do something easy and fun, because I think it would be a lot of fun to have one. See, this comment I'll put up. Thank you, Kevin. HJ, you look great for 58. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's because I had children later in life. That's why. This grays off from my daughter. I'm just kidding. She's a love. She's a love. I think I look younger because I'm holding on to my hair. That is a superpower that men in my family have. So there is that. Okay. So yeah, the video that comes out on Thursday is a celebration. It's a review. It dispels myths. There are so many myths and misconceptions about the Pilot Custom 823 out there. When I was doing research, I was reading people's pages and they were talking about the significance of certain symbols on it. And Yeah, no, no. We're dispelling all of that in a polite way because I am the Steve Irwin of fountain pens. I am not controversial. I do occasionally wade into controversial territory because I must tell the truth. Thanks for all the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, that comes out Thursday. Pilot Custom 823. Happy birthday. A wonderful pen. I wrote it down here in my notes. A lot of fun. A tour through all things Pilot. History, personal use, tips. I take on myths and misconceptions as I celebrate 25 years of the PC 823. Happy birthday, Pilot. Happy birthday indeed. Did you guys know it was 25 years? There you have it. So it should be a lot of fun. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so when it comes to fountain pens, I do think that these thought experiments do help me to hone my opinions and help me to really focus in on what I really like. And I feel like I could come up with a very short list of fountain pens that I could live with. And they would each be a little different, with maybe some would be included based on sentimental reasons, because my wife has bought me several pens. I'd never part with them. But there are some pens when you start to think, like, could I just write with this pen? And the Pilot Custom 823 is one of those pens. I could make it my one and only. I could be devoted to it and it to me. It is that good to me. And with a few little things that you'll see in the video, there are a few things. But one pen that really rises above all in my collection is my Edson. This thing is a monster. It's quite a large pen, but it has some features that I just love from pens. So when you're thinking about your one and only, I am beguiled by inlaid nibs. Now this one plays a little trompe-l'oeil with you because yes, it's an inlaid nib, but it's really closer to a Kuran than a Schaefer Legacy. This little bit leading up to it is an affectation, but it's a beautiful one that mirrors the same lines as on the clip. So it's not being dishonest. It's just leading your eye. And boy, when you see it and the way it uncaps, it's just beautiful and exquisite. It also solves one of the pen's biggest problems is how do you get the cap to stay on if you have a more streamlined look? I feel like the Lamy 2000, as much as I love it, and there is a video coming up on that soon, it fails completely in this regard with those terrible wires. I'm sorry, I'll never get used to them. I wish there were a better way, and there is. See, these beautiful little golden pads that are just little cushy pads. You can press them in with your fingers. They're so nice. And it gives you such a satisfying click. And I think a snap cap is important too. I think your one and only needs to be accessible for quick notes. I don't mind twist caps. I mean, 823 is, the 149 is, but it is a whole lot of screwing and unscrewing all day. And it's a bit of a ritual too, which is welcome on more longer writing sessions. But much of my writing is quick. I'm reading a book, I write something down. Doing something, an idea comes to me, I write it down. I'm at work, someone says something, I need to remember that, I have to do that tomorrow. I write it down into my ledger book. So it's a lot of uncapping, freeing my nib, and writing it down. It's a much more fluid, quick motion than a screw cap. The Waterman Kuran joins it in that way. I'm very much team Waterman lately. I do feel Waterman is the most underappreciated, underrated fountain pen brand there is, bar none. And it's sad because I think they're beautiful. But look at the size of this pen. It's not posted. And it's plenty big for my hand. I don't post it because I don't want to scratch it. It's so pretty. It is a little scratched here and there on the gold. I could buff that out, but I think a little honest wear is cool. But if it had a big gouge and, cap marks on here, that would break my heart a little. I guess I could say the cap ring is at the end of the cap, but the whole cap is metal, so it's like, it's a great cap. The brushed gold is beautiful. It's just a really good, perfect pen, and there's a lot I like about it. I would also say that for me, in my one and only pen, my Connor McLeod pen, there can be only one pen. Smoothness, I think, is more important to me than anything else. And I don't mind so much if I can't feel every little nook and cranny on a piece of paper. I do enjoy that sometimes. I like a good scribing noise. I like to hear it too sometimes. But this gives me that. It does vibrate wonderfully. It doesn't convey a lot of the different imperfections in a paper, if there are any. Rhodia like smooth as glass, as you know. But it's so smooth. And that smoothness just feels of luxury to me. It's just such a contrast between a rollerball or a fountain pen. Nothing matches a smooth, wet nib, a precise nib like this Edson. So that takes me far into what I think of as my one and only fountain pen. Not that there couldn't be others. If someone told me that the Quran was their one and only fountain pen, I'd shake their hand and say, you know what, good job, good for you. Because that's a splendid pen. And there's no reason that couldn't be your only pen. It's very similar to this, it's just scaled down. And not quite as impressive dimensionally, aesthetically, even engineering wise. If you do a little research on this pen and how the feed works, almost gives you this continual loop of ink, and it's designed not to burp or expand on a plane. So it has a lot of really neat features. But the Quran's great too. And so, of course, is a pen like the Montblanc, although you're going to be screwing and unscrewing. That 149, that 146. I'm trying to think. I don't think I own a Montblanc that's not a screw cap. They're all screw caps. There's no snap caps that I can think of in my collection. I don't know if they ever made one. I'm going to look into that. My Egyptomania, I love. It gives me an interesting writing experience. That's been put away with intention. I love that pen, but I put it away on purpose so that I could rediscover it. And I want to do something. I want to do another video with it, something interesting. And I'm thinking of tying in Howard Carter. And I have a really good way of doing it. So that's going to come up soon. But honestly, think long and hard about which pen you could do and could be your only pen. If it's the Lamy Safari, we're friends for life. If the pen that just leapt into your mind is a Lamy Safari, you have to subscribe to this channel if you haven't, because we need to be friends, and I appreciate that. I think as a mental exercise, it's just kind of good to just sort of refine yourself to one and see what it teaches you about what you really like. Now, this has a converter, and I do think converters are the best filling systems, because if something happens, you can replace the converter. Although it might be harder on this, because they don't make the pen anymore, and I'm not sure if it's a standard size. It's a sapphire converter, so it'd be very sad to see it go. So it sort of looks like you had Bay State Blue in here for a year, and it's finally got around to changing the ink, but that's not the case. It actually came with a sapphire converter, which actually liberates you in a lot of ways. It has a sapphire post. It's very pretty. So you don't have to worry about it being ink stained. Look at the gold. Isn't that beautiful? Because my Schaefer Legacy is black. And I think that's from time. This came this way. So a piston fill would be a little bit more integrated for me. I think I'd probably enjoy that a little better. But you can't beat a converter for the ease of switching it out. Look at my Cross Apogee. My Cross Apogee died. And I was able to eventually find a converter for it. And now it's back. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the fact what your one fountain pen would be. I'd be curious. Aquamarina can't put down her Santini, the cheapest model they have. It's perfect. My one and only would be that pen. I love it. Love it. It's good, guys. It is good to like what you like. And not to go with whatever someone is shilling on YouTube. Not that they're necessarily shilling, but some places are just out to sell pens. And I'm out to push passion. I'm out to get you inspired. I don't think any of you need to buy another pen unless you want to. I'm about to break my pen streak. And I'm really surprised. I stopped buying fountain pens in November, early November, around the 8th, when I bought my Montblanc Wes Anderson pen. Since then, a lovely viewer sent me a terracotta Lamy Safari, which I'll never forget. Thank you very, very much. I was looking for that. It's great to have it. Still looking for the Savannah Green. I will add that at some point. And I bought the Kuron Reflections of Paris from Atlas Stationers myself because I was passionate about it. And I wanted to take it to Paris. So it'll be fun. But now here it is May. That's November. So we're really speaking of almost 7 months with me getting only 2 pens. I don't think that's been the case in 20 years. But it's about to end. Yard of Lead is sending a pen. I kind of turned away a few brands that wanted to work with me. And I probably would entertain that now. But I think I'm going to buy a PC823 with a fine. And I probably will buy another Edson at some point. I feel like I need to have a backup because I like it so much. E. Williams, so I want to only be a vanishing point. A stupendous pick. Well done. I salute you. For those about to write, we salute you. Try and see if there's any other good ones here. Tracy, my buddy Tracy, says I'd have to have 10 minimal for my own pen collection. That's another question about how many minimal we would need for like a whole collection, right? I do my tops, my top 10, my top 5s. I should do one. It probably is different than the last time I did it. So maybe I will. Ooh, Jack is a Kaweco Supra fan. That is a incredible pen. It's a Lilliput on steroids. Very beefy. So very, very done. Very, very done. Very good. David Pearson's my buddy. Celebrate 11 months of membership. Thank you so much, David. I'm happy to have you. You're a lovely guy. Doing the same thing. I'm trading, selling pens I don't use. Still have a bunch of MBs, but I use them all, so I don't need it. Now I won't buy it. You know, it's a good strategy to be a bit more mindful. I'm doing the same. I have a bunch of pens I need to move along, but I haven't, but I will. Very, very soon. So guys, if you've reached this point, please subscribe. You've listened to an hour of me speak about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling. So please hit the button. I'd love to have you here for this journey. And consider membership. Help keep the lights on. And there is a pen pal group for Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. So I'd love to have you behind the scenes as well. Catch the new video on Thursday. It's a happy birthday to the Pilot Custom 823. Love that pen. Happy to see it. So I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show each Tuesday night, so don't miss it. Here we are celebrating fountain pens each week with lovely people. So thank you all for being here. You mean the world to me. We'll see each other soon. I promise you, further up the road. So take care all. Have a wonderful night.